Thingkho Le Malcha, by KSO Media and Documentation Cell, issue number 35, Monday, October 15, 2023. Headlines: Secessionist Meitei militants' nexus with Manipur politician, their counterparts in Myanmar revealed. CBI files charge sheet against 6 accused in B Phom viral video case. Mob of youth of Manipur, JAC storm Barish Sharma's residence, wife seeks apology. Manipur is no longer a state, it is now 2 states, Rahul Gandhi in Mizoram. Kwakta bomb blast case, NIA, Assam police arrests suspect. Manipur conflict through the lens of racism. ST status for Meiteis was considered and rejected in 1982 and 2001, government records show. Thingkho Le Malcha. Kuki victims update as on October 16, 2023. Deaths, 146. Villages burnt, 200 plus. Houses burnt, 7,000 plus. Churches and synagogues burnt, 360 plus. Displaced persons, 41,425. Relief Center update. Bijang ECA Relief Center, Bijang, Lamka. Managed by Kuki Konglai Lompi, KKL, GHQ. Total inmates registered, 249 star. Male, 129. Female, 120. Secessionist Meitei militants' nexus with Manipur politician, their counterparts in Myanmar revealed. An arrested 45-year-old militant belonging to the banned KYKL outfit has revealed that he was in touch with a Myanmar-based terror group since June and used to extort money from private establishments and public for the party fund, a clear example of transnational conspiracy against India. During the investigation, the arrested terrorist, Karam Satrajit Singh, also revealed that he is the nephew of a Manipur legislator. Officers aware of the state police's probe in the matter said on Sunday. The Hindustan Times reported that the suspected militant was in touch with a Myanmar-based terror group since June, the officers said, adding that the Manipur police are probing the extent of his involvement in the ethnic clashes that have rocked the northeastern state since May 3. The Manipur police, in a statement on Saturday night, said that an active member of banned outfit Konglai Yawal Kana Lup, KYKL, was arrested with a 9mm Beretta US Corp pistol, 7 rounds of ammunition, and extortion money. However, they did not share details related to his identification or his alleged contacts. He was arrested on October 14 by the Commando Unit of Impul West from Singjamai supermarket area in Impul. The arrested militant confessed that he was working with a man named Robert who is based in Myanmar, a senior officer aware of the probe details said, requesting anonymity. Under the command of the people based in Myanmar, he was extorting money from private establishments and public as part of the party funds. Mentioned may be made that KYKL is the same outlawed militant outfit, whose 12 members were apprehended by Assam Rifles at a village in Impul along with large cache of ammunition on June 24, but they were let free after women-led protesters and a mob of around 1,200 people surrounded the security forces. An army spokesperson had on June 25 said that among those apprehended in the combing operation included Moarangatha Tamba, alias Utam, a mastermind of the 2015 ambush that killed 18 army personnel. On July 19, NIA registered a Soa Motu, on its own, case to probe the role of people working under instructions from Myanmar-based groups that are involved in violence in Manipur. On September 23, the Federal Anti-Terror Agency also arrested a man, identified as Moarangatha Anand Singh, for his alleged involvement in stoking violence in the state by carrying out attacks against rival groups and security forces. CBI files charge sheet against 6 accused in B Phom viral video case. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, on Monday filed a charge sheet against 6 accused and a report against 1 child in conflict with the law, CCL, before the special judge, CBI court at Guwahati in Manipur, viral video case. In a press release, the CBI stated that they had registered a case on the request of Manipur government with a further notification from Government of India and taken over the investigation of the case crime number 110-06/2023 dated June 21, 2023 of Nampak Sekmai Police Station, Thobal District. It was alleged that, on May 4, 2023, a mob of approximately 9001000 individuals, armed with sophisticated weapons, entered B Phom village in the Kangpokpi district of Manipur, vandalized and set houses ablaze, looted properties, assaulted villagers, committed murders, sexually assaulted women. It was also alleged that 2 family members of one of the victims were also killed in the incident, CBI said. The CBI investigation revealed that the accused were involved in the said incident. A charge sheet was filed today before the special judge, CBI court, Guwahati designated as per the orders of the Supreme Court, it stated. The CBI also stated that further investigation is continuing including the identification of other accused involved in the offenses besides other aspects of the case. It reminded the public that the findings are based on the investigation done and evidence collected by it. Under the Indian law, the accused are presumed to be innocent till their guilt is finally established after a fair trial, CBI added. Mob of youth of Manipur, JAC storm Barish Sharma's residence, wife seeks apology. Angered with the recent gunfiring by the former BJYM president, Barish Sharma and his gang on civilians in Imphal yesterday, a large number of people including members from the youth of Manipur and the JAC formed against the incident thronged the residence of Barish Sharma in Wangkiai, Imphal, on Monday while the mob gathered in front of the house in protest against Sharma's action. His wife came out from their residence and spoke to the crowd seeking unconditional apology. Bowing down to the mob, she said she was willing to accept any punishment given to her husband if he has committed any crime. Barish Sharma was not at home when the mob stormed his residence. Another family member, uncle, also said he, as an elderly, would make sure that Barish is not involved again in any unwanted activities in the future, and that they are willing to accept any punishment given to him. The protesters also demanded that all the medical expenditures of all the injured should be borne by Barish and family, and gun license of Barish or any other member of his family must be confiscated. Manipur is no longer a state, it is now 2 states, Rahul Gandhi in Mizoram. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi slammed Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday and said the PM is more interested in the Israel-Hamas war than the ongoing violence in Manipur. Speaking in poll-bound Mizoram, Gandhi said, "It's amazing to me that the Prime Minister and the government of India are so interested in what is happening in Israel but not interested at all in what is happening in Manipur." Rahul Gandhi also mentioned his visit to Manipur in June and said he could not believe what he saw. The idea of Manipur has been destroyed by the BJP. It is no longer a state, it is now 2 states, said the Congress leader, referring to the ongoing conflict between the Meitei and Kuki communities. People have been murdered, women have been molested and babies have been killed, but the Prime Minister doesn't find it important to travel there, said Rahul Gandhi. He said it was something to be ashamed of that PM Modi has not yet visited Manipur ever since violence between the 2 communities first broke out in May. The Congress leader further said the violence in Manipur is just a symptom of the problem. He said that the idea of India is under attack and there's oppression being carried out on the people of the country. What's happened in Manipur is also an attack on the idea of India, said Gandhi. In contrast, he said the Congress Party's Bharat Jodo Yatra which he led was about protecting every single religion, culture, language and tradition of this country. Rahul Gandhi undertook a padayatra in Asval on Monday from the Chanmari Junction till Raj Bhavan, covering a distance of around 2 kilometers. He is in Mizoram on a 2-day visit. The election for the 40-member Mizoram Assembly is scheduled to be held on November 7. Kwokta bomb blast case, NIA, Assam police arrests suspect. A joint team of the Assam Police and the National Investigation Agency, NIA, on Monday have arrested MD Noor Hussain from Silchar in Chachar district of Assam in connection with a bomb blast incident which occurred in the month of June at Manipur's Kwokta under Bishnupur district. On June 21, a powerful IED-laden bomb fitted in a Mahindra Scorpio vehicle which was parked over a bridge exploded between Fugakeo Ikayawang Laikai and Kwokta along Tidam Road in Bishnupur district, thereby injuring 3 civilians from Meitei Pangal community. As per reports by the national media, the NIA, in an intelligence-based joint operation with Assam Police on Monday, arrested MD Noor Hussain. The report stated that the case was initially registered by Manipur authorities under FIR number 635-6, 2023 dated June 21, 2023 at PGCI police station in Moirang subdivision of Bishnupur, and was later re-registered by the NIA on June 23 in Imphal. The NIA probe revealed the involvement of MD Noor Hussain in the bomb blast case. 3 people were injured and the bridge, along with nearby houses, was damaged as a result of the blast. Manipur conflict through the lens of racism. If a Meitei and a Kuki could, for one moment, sit together and retrospect the 5-month-old conflict in Manipur, one most obvious observation would be the glaring apathy and lack of concern of the Indian government. No place in India has ever burnt this long, no state witnessed such devastating violence, and no territory in India has been totally segregated on ethnic lines since its independence. Would the violence have continued if it was, say in Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan or Haryana? The violence would perhaps not have continued even for 10 days and all the powers that be, including the press, would have made sure that a semblance of normalcy is restored. But why not in Manipur? Is it because it's too far from the center, or is it because the situation is too complex, as if other Indian states are any better, or is it plainly because the people there are racially different from most Indians, and they are not Indian enough to matter? Something in the Indian psyche seemed to have a separate space for Northeasterners, and the careless whispers of Chinky that you hear as you pass the marketplace actually seem to have a deep-seated racial slur than we realize. History testifies to that. Remember the recent killings at Oding in Nagaland? Has a group of people ever been fired anywhere in India on mere suspicions? While fake encounters are common, how could a group of laborers be fired upon by the best trained soldiers in the country on mere suspicions? Would they have done that, say against extremists in Bihar without first authenticating it? What gives them the psychological green signal to go ahead without second thought? Is it because of a deeply ingrained feeling that they actually are indeed different and there would perhaps be lesser retribution? Moreover, if their intelligence network has failed them even within India, who can believe that they actually went inside Myanmar to kill insurgent groups operating there? Vibhuti N. Rai, IPS, famously said no riot can last for more than 24 hours unless the state wants it to continue. While the complicity of the state government under Biren Singh is obvious, one can even go further to infer that a state cannot burn for 5 months unless the central government wants it. What else can explain the utter helplessness of a rising superpower in containing a conflict within its territory, and what more can explain denying the Indian Army the AFSPA in the Impal area where it needs the most? The Indian Army remains the last vestige of hope for the people except that their hands have been tied, and a conflict that they could have contained within 2 weeks has now stretched to 5 months. The Prime Minister of India has had time to campaign for elections in several states, not to forget his visit to Orissa when a train derailed. While Manipur burned, he even hosted the G20 summit and wowed the dignitaries of the wonder that is India. Recently, the Prime Minister also showed much concern for the lost souls in Israel. One only wishes that he pays some attention to his own country. The question now remains as to what the India government wants to achieve in Manipur. Is it to let the Mongolian races fight among themselves and thereby weaken them so as to bring in the multinational Aryan Corporation Limited invaders without much hurdle? Is it to lure the Meitei insurgents to come out of their hiding in Myanmar to fight for their Meitei people so that they can be finally kept in designated camps like Naga groups? Has the Meiteis bitten the bait that they would be the new masters of Northeastern Hemisphere if they come down from their Mongolian heights as the last vestige to hold out in Myanmar? Is it to restructure the power dynamics in the Indo-Myanmar frontier which has been dominated by the Naga groups? One might never know what it actually is, and poor Kuki tribals had to pay a heavy price for India's adventures. Even many innocent Meiteis would now be struggling to make their ends meet in Impal, especially shopkeepers in and around Kuki colonies. Tourism in the state has also come to a standstill and might not open up anytime soon now. The Prime Minister hasn't visited Manipur and it doesn't bode well for a leader, and would also show that something serious is cooking in the eastern side of India. Since elections are also coming up in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Telangana, which has substantial tribal populations, the tribals there might not take kindly to the naked parading of their Adivasi sisters in Manipur. Lastly, if this Manipur experiment goes haywire and drag on longer, India's natural defense in the eastern side will lay completely exposed and the future generation might pay a price for it. ST status for Meiteis was considered and rejected in 1982 and 2001, government records show. A proposal on the inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribes list has been examined and rejected twice over the last 4 decades, according to documents seen by The Hindu, once, in 1982, by the Office of the Registrar General of India, and again, in 2001, by the Government of Manipur. The Union and Manipur governments have not made this information public during the ongoing ethnic conflict in the state, nor presented these records in the Manipur High Court case on the Meitei petition for inclusion. In fact, officials of the Tribal Affairs Ministry fished out these historical documents in late April this year, just days after the controversial Manipur High Court order to send a recommendation on ST status to Meiteis was made public. Officials in Delhi were recording these findings in files related to the Meiteis demand, even as the Hill Areas Committee in Manipur passed a resolution against the order amidst growing opposition by tribal groups. On May 3, a protest rally against the HC order triggered the eruption of violence between the valley-based Meitei community and the hills-based scheduled tribe Kuki communities, with nearly 180 people killed in the conflict over the next 5 months. Rejected twice, the records, accessed by the Hindu under the Right to Information Act, 2005, showed that the Office of the RGI had looked into the Meiteis inclusion in the ST list on a request from the Ministry of Home Affairs in 1982. It found that, based on available information, the Meitei community does not appear to possess tribal characteristics, and said it was not in favor of inclusion. It noted that historically, the term had been used to describe the non-tribal population in the Manipur Valley. Almost 20 years later, when the erstwhile Ministry of Social Justice was revising the SC/ST lists of states and union territories, it had sought recommendations from the Manipur government. In response, the Tribal Development Department of Manipur on January 3, 2001, told the center that it agreed with the 1982 opinion of the Office of the RGI on the status of Meiteis. The Manipur government, then headed by Chief Minister W. Napamacha Singh, had said that the Meitei community was the dominant group in Manipur and need not be included in the ST list. It noted that Meitei people were Hindus and assumed the status of Kshatriya caste in the ladder of Hindu castes, adding that they had already been listed as other backward classes. Not submitted in court. The Union government, however, did not submit any of these records before the single-judge bench of Acting Chief Justice M.V. Muralidharan, which was hearing the Meitei's petition. In the controversial order, the acting CJ had said, by consent, the main writ petition is taken up for final disposal at the admission stage, issuing notice to the state and union governments in the same order of March 27 through which it also decided the writ petition filed by members of the Meitei Tribe Union. In the review and appeal matters pending before the Manipur High Court, the state and union governments are yet to file any written submissions on ST status for Meiteis. Decades-old criteria. The modalities for inclusion of tribes allow only proposals initiated by the state government to be processed, with primacy given to the opinion of the Office of the RGI. The Constitution allows only Parliament to finalize the inclusion by passing the required amendments to the Constitution, Scheduled Tribes, Order, 1950. The criteria followed by the Office of the RGI to decide inclusion in ST list were set in 1965 by the Local Committee: indications of primitive traits, distinctive culture, geographical isolation, shyness of contact with the community at large, and backwardness. The same criteria are used to this day. A proposal to change the criteria for defining scheduled tribes, based on an internal committee's report, was floated in the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in 2014, soon after the Narendra Modi-led government came to power. After mulling it for almost 8 years, the ministry said in 2022 that it had put the proposal on hold, with officials saying there were no plans to tinker with the decades-old criteria. Among several recommendations made by the internal committee to keep up with changing tribal societies, one was to not discount a community's plea for inclusion in the ST list solely based on the fact that they were followers of Hinduism.